So in this short video, we're going to be looking at particles called isotopes. We'll start by looking at the definition. So isotopes are atoms of the same element with different numbers of neutrons. That means, unlike protons, the number of neutrons in atoms of the same element can change, because if we remember from my previous video, that proton number tells you what element the atom is. Now, all elements in the periodic table will exist as isotopes, so they all have different isotopes, but I'm just going to be picking a couple of common ones that you're probably already familiar with just for the purpose of this video. And the first example that we're going to look at then is carbon, and I'm going to look at two isotopes of carbon. Carbon can exist as carbon-12, and it can also exist as carbon-13. Now, the way that I've written those, we can see that they've got different mass numbers. One has a mass of 12, one has a mass of 13. So let's use these numbers to work out the number of subatomic particles in each of these atoms. Remembering that proton number is the same for atoms of the same element, so they're both going to have 6 protons in their nucleus. Now for the neutrons. Now, if we remember, to work out neutrons, we take the mass number of the atom, and from that number we minus the atomic number. So for carbon-12, it's going to be 12 minus 6, which gives us 6 neutrons, and for carbon-13, it's going to be 13 minus 6, which this time gives us 7 neutrons. So even though they're atoms of the same element, they clearly have different mass numbers, which means they're going to have different numbers of neutrons. One has 6 neutrons, one has 7 neutrons. Another common element that has isotopes is oxygen. Again, I'm just going to look at 2 of the isotopes of oxygen. And the 2 we're going to look at are oxygen-16 and oxygen-18. Again, they've got different mass numbers. We can see from the way that I've written it, or we should know then by looking at the periodic table, that oxygen, or atoms of oxygen, have 8 protons. So they both have 8 protons. To work out number of neutrons then, for oxygen-16, it's 16 minus 8, which gives us 8. And for oxygen-18, this time it's 18 minus 8, which gives us 10. So atoms are the same element then, but they've got different numbers of neutrons, so we call them isotopes. Now, isotopes have the same chemical properties. That means that carbon-12 will react the same as carbon-13 in chemical reactions. This is because chemical reactivity depends on the number of electrons. And if we're assuming then that these isotopes are all neutral particles, we are assuming that they have the same number of electrons. And for this purpose, they will have the same chemical reactions as each other. Thanks for watching. For more chemistry tips and revision, hit subscribe, click on the like button, and check out my Instagram page using the link below.